Hello class, today what we're going to be doing is the mouse button counter, so the money system or just the auto clicker option. So what we have here is a basic mouse listener, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement the button maker. Is the two sets of code. What I need to do is just copy and paste it in. So I'm going to first make a clicker button, so I'm going to copy this right into my class. Copy this right into my init. Copy this right into my paint. And then under mouse pressed, I copy this. So mouse pressed right in there, and now I compile and run it. A simple one where I clicked inside and outside, and then it sets a random XY. Random XY. I don't want the random XY anymore. So what I want is, I first want my buttons to be bigger so I can see them, and I also want to get rid of the random because I don't want that. So now when I have this, it just says inside, outside, even though you can't see it, it does show up there because you can just do the length of the text is different. Now what I want is a counter. So what I need to do first is, I don't care if I click it anymore, so I'm actually going to delete this. Well, yeah, I'm just going to delete this because I'm going to do everything in the mouse pressed section. So I'm going to say I need this Y value to be 1. So I set it to be green. My text is going to be red. Merry Christmas. And my X value is going to be 40 and then 20. So it's 10 down from the top of the rectangle, so that works out good for me because I'm going to name the top of it. And I'm going to say you have clicked this, and then I'm going to say plus X. Instead of the X, I'm going to do wall button count plus times this wall button count, which I need to make a long. I want to make it a long so that if anytime I click way beyond the initial set of ints, then it can still count. So it's just a better programming philosophy. So now when I click it, it's always going to be 0. So what I have to do is every time I click this button, I say wall count plus plus. And now when I compile and run it, I have my count, and I stop, and I count, and I stop, and I count. Now what I'm going to do is, and notice it's off, I messed up on that, I don't know why. 2020, oh, my X was this, so it should be 2040. That's what it should have been. Now it's inside the button, and I need a comma there. Now what I need to do is basically copy this. I'm going to go back to my button maker text file, and now I need to make another button, so I'm going to go edit. First I'm going to copy wall button. I'm going to go edit, replace wall button with double click. I'm going to go replace all, and now I basically do the same exact thing. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and copy paste. So I'm copy pasting all the code from the right over into the left in the specific categories, and I'm putting it at the end of everything. And so now I'm just looking at my code, and first thing I'm going to do is change my XY. So this is going, my X value is going to become 200, and this is also 100, 100. And now I need to also have my long set up. So I want double click instead of wall button, my double click count. So instead of my wall button increasing by 1, I'm going to go equals that plus double click. So wall button equals wall button plus double click count, and my double click count is then plus plus. And since I'm saying wall button equals double click count there, that means I have to start out my double click count instead of starting at 0, which would add nothing. I need to add 1. And I also need to display it. So again, I'm going to move this. I want to move it up here because I want them both to be green and then both to be red. And I'm going to copy this, and instead of wall button count, it is just double click count, and I need this to be at 140. I think it's 140. No, 240. And now when I compile and run this, I have 2 buttons, and so now this increases rapidly. I click this, now this is going to become 59. Boom. This should now be 65, and so on and so forth. So now I can rapidly increase my click, and there we go. I should have moved it over there, sorry, but it's good enough for me. So now I have 2 buttons with currency, and that's pretty much it. There's also going to be a part where you can do an auto clicker inside the runnable thread, but we haven't gotten there yet, so this is just a quick one. Have a good one. I will see you later.